Hey Crossbridge family, it's Wednesday. It's time for your SOAP update. Today you are in Jeremiah chapter 51 and we are coming close to the end of Jeremiah. We close it out tomorrow. And I know that over the last couple of days, specifically the last week, you've read a lot of specific prophecies targeted at all these different nations and regions. And it's really kind of unnerving to see how God is going to punish some of these areas and what he says to them. But one of the things that's really important as you close out this book is really remembering that chapters 45 and 46, where we have Baruch sighing last week, and then it begins with these, these prophecies. These prophecies were given to Jeremiah about 18 years before the actual exile happens. So when Baruch sighs and it's like, oh my gosh, here we go. All these prophecies are given by Jeremiah. And then you come to chapters 50 and 51, where there is this very big intention that God has about saying to Babylon, this nation, I'm going to use you as a tool to come into Jerusalem. But then you are going to pay for how horrible of a nation you have been overall. And in the midst of these prophecies to Babylon, there's these beautiful little pockets of hope for Israel, because remember, they're given 18 years before the exile. And when these prophecies are read again, when they're in the exile, they would have found these little glimmers of hope, of these praises to the Lord. And I find it fascinating, even today in Jeremiah 51, it's, the Lord has made the earth by his power. In verse 15, he preserves it by his wisdom. With his own understanding, he stretched out the heavens. And when he speaks in the thunder, the heavens roar with rain. He causes the clouds to rise over the earth. He sends the lightning with the rain. He releases the wind from the storehouses. The whole human race is foolish and has no knowledge. And it goes on to talk about, because they create all these idols. And even in the midst of Babylon, a nation built around idols, God's saying, you got to remember that I am so big, so large, so in power that I've always had you in mind, and clinging to worthless idols is pointless. We even find that in Jonah chapter 2, verse 8, where Jonah reminds that, he, in one of his prayers, he says, and those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs. Even in the midst of exile, God is going to be reminding Israel, I've got you. I'm with you. Tomorrow, you'll be in chapter 52, the final chapter, and it is really just a summary again of something you've already read, and it's the sacking of Jerusalem, the besieging of Jerusalem. When Babylon comes in, wipes it out, and it's this reminder at the end of, I know I've told you all these prophecies, but remember where this ends. And it ends at a place where they're taken, and there's all this list of numbers and stuff like that. But it's really important to remember that God has always had his people in mind and in his heart. And so as we close, as your pastor, I just want to congratulate you. For those who have soaked all 52 chapters of Jeremiah with us, I just want to say I'm so proud of you. And congratulations, you have read and studied one of the hardest books of the Bible to understand, that many people won't even go near this book, but you have done it, you have read it, and I believe that God has spoken to you just as much as he's spoken to me. So here's what I'd love to do. Would you do me a favor and let me know maybe one or two of the chapters or verses, SOAP videos, anything over the last 2 months of us reading this book together? Would you just throw something in the comments and let me know what you are thinking, things that you've learned and encouragements or challenges you've taken away from this prophet? I know for me, it simply comes down to, just like Jeremiah, I know God has called me to stand up and say what he's called me to say, regardless of who it's against or what we need to do, because his word is worth clinging to and proclaiming over and over and over. So Crossbridge, I love you. I'm so thankful for you, and I cannot wait to continue the conversation on Jeremiah as we go. May God bless you, may he keep you, and may his face shine upon you.